Everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuits, and we're back for part 2 of some more Crowshriek scatter. This little set is just some stuff that provides cover concealment or cover and concealment, depending. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start working on that. So to get started, the first thing I want to do is I want to get a styrofoam plate. I don't want to lose any of my free dirt I got outside. And to get started, I'm just going to get some super glue and come around on here on my dirt mounds that are packed dirt around my palisades. Okay. Once I have some glue there, I'm going to get a spoon and some really fine powdered dirt. It's not all going to be fine powdered dirt, but some of it's going to be. Okay. I'm going to get that on there. I'm going to shake that down a little bit and dump that off. See where I missed and need to do it again. Coming up onto them a little bit is going to provide some stability and strengthen this up, but you don't want to make it overbearing. I'm going to get some more of my dirt. I'm aiming for the finer, smaller chunks, but I'm probably going to get other chunks in there too. Okay. Now I'm going to come up on the front. I'm going to shake this back into the container. And I'm going to just get around the fronts here, just like the same I did around the backs. Just like that. I'm going to try to get some of this finer stuff, like I said. I'm going to save this because I'm shysty, and I will use that again and again and again. I don't know if I'm shysty, but I'm definitely thrifty. All right, free dirt with a piece of styrofoam in it. So these look pretty good. And if you were really lazy, you could stop right here and call that a win if you wanted. I'm not going to, but you could. You could say that's just a piece of wood and that's a branch, but that's going to be a rock, and that's going to be a bush. So let's get our cardboard and do all our rock stuff first. We have 3 things of rock stuff to do. So I'm going to get my favorite color in the entire world, pavement. I'm going to get a brush that has some decent coverage. Not that one. That one. And I'm going to paint my rocks. Now, these don't have to be perfect. And remember, perfection is not a prerequisite of a good craft. There was a little bit of wet green in there. I just smeared it around and mixed it in with what I was painting. It'll create some random variation, and it might end up being a really good effect when it's all said and done. We don't know. Okay. There's a little bit of dirt in this, and that's okay. That's probably just where some wet paint was. It'll be all right. I'm going to get some lighter green, soft makeup brush. Start a little bit of variation on this bush. If there's any spots where a little bit of white's showing, just shove it in there and cover it up. And knowing me, there will be some white showing. Sweet. And I'm going to get one lighter color green. And then I'm going to come around and just try to break up anywhere where you might see lines on these bases. I don't want to pick up any gray while I'm doing this, but if I do, it won't be the end of the world. All right, so we have all this dirt here. What we want to do is we're going to get that little brush that we did the rocks with. We get some dark brown. We want to water it down. Oh, better get some in my lid here. Something like that. That might be enough. And we wish to darken up our dirt some. And if you get a little bit on the logs, I think it'll be all right. I don't think it'll be ideal, but it'll be all right. And I just hit that rock with this one I was coming across. And I'm just going to make that worked into it. Could get all worked up about it, could make a big fuss about it, but truth is, it's just going to be a variation on the base, and I'll just throw some more on there too while I'm at it. Now, you could have left it that dirt color if you had wished. I didn't like it, think it was dark enough for what I wanted, so I darkened mine up with a little bit of watered down paint. Again, that is optional. That is a step you did not have to do. I just didn't want it to look that natural and good. Okay. So now I'm going to dab some spots on this because this is not clean new wood that just got beautifully built and installed. This is random, and I want it to look as such. I'm going to get the rest of that off my brush, just dabbing it around on some of this ground. And that's going to create more variation in the undertone under the flock. So let's get a hot air gun. Happy Thursday to you. Happy Thursday to you. I think that it's Thursday. I don't know if that's true. So you see right here, there's just a lot of moisture. It's not going to dry easily with the hot air gun. So I'm just going to grab a little dab of fabric. And these little dab of fabrics are just old t-shirts that my little boys grew out of that were not in good enough shape to donate. They had rips and stains and things like that that you wouldn't want your kids in. So I'm not going to donate that to other kids and expect them to wear it. I'm going to get a medium gray. And I'm going to get a soft makeup brush from the Dollar Tree. Something like that. And I'm going to rub it around on my cardboard. And then I'm going to dab it onto my rocks. And I don't care if I get a little bit on the base, that'll be okay. Okay. And on the wall. I think I want a little bit more on the wall maybe. So I'm going to try to see if I can steal some of that and get a variation or undertone for that. But I didn't. I need more paint. There we go, something like that. I'm going to hit this again because I think it needs to be lightened up a little bit. Okay. And I'm just going to go over here with that because I feel like that's the right answer. I'm going to hit these with the air gun real quick. I'm going to set this brush off to the side. I'm not putting it in my water. I'm going to be using it again briefly here. Now, as you're looking at these, you're probably thinking, hey, Doom, I could probably use those how they are. You probably could. Honestly, you probably could. I'm not going to, but you could. And probably no one would say shit about it. If you were trying to populate like a gaming store or throw together something quick for an encounter that you weren't going to use ever again, where we're sitting right now would be ideal for something like that, I'm sure. What do you think? That could work, couldn't it? Sure could. All right. Is everybody happy? I hope you are. Let's get some clear glue. I hope that's enough. If not, I do know where there's more. And for that clear glue, I'm going to come back to that giant brush. It's a little bit wet. And I'm going to paint these pretty good. Make sure I get around them rocks. I'm going to take a quick break and I'm going to flock it up quick. There's our wall. We're not quite done with these, by the way. We're going to do a little bit more with them, but let's get started by doing the important part. Now what's nice is any of these little spots where you messed up or where you don't have solid contact with the base, well, those are about to be hidden by flock. Okay, and last but not least, my homeboy over here with this palisade setup. I want to come in here and I want to kind of get around the edge there of the dirt and cover a little bit of the dirt, but not too much of it. Get it in those cracks, and then I want to come in and get it. And I don't care if it gets on these rocks some, It's kind of like how I didn't care if it got on the rocks on that wall some, or the rock and the bush on the other some. You know, it's you're not going for perfection here. You're going for, well, nature is perfect. That's the problem with nature. It's not symmetrical, it's not square, but it is perfect. Okay. Let's see if we can't get a little bit on there. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah. All right. Let's put that flock away before we flock something up too much. Let's come back and look at what we got to work with. I'm going to clean that brush out somewhat, and I'm going to get some of that water. I'm going to get some of this English ivy green, just a little bit of it. I'm going to get my super wet brush and that English ivy green. Okay. And I'm going to drag that up east some. Like that. I'll get a little bit on them rocks. I want to hit that dirt up some. And I'm just going to drag it around the outside to knock off any loose flock that I don't want on my base. Alright, do the same thing here. I'm going to get this. I'm going to touch this rock a little bit. I'm going to head around on this bush some. Then I'm going to come around and knock any of the stuff I don't want on the outside of my base. And same thing here. I'm going to get some of that green. Do a little bit of work on that wall to darken it up some. Not darken it up, I'm sorry. Give it some variation. I'm going to come around the outside and use that wet green and knock off any flock I don't want around the outside of my base. Now, there's one more step. I want to get a little bit of dark brown. And I know we already did dark brown. I'm going to get my brush, some water, a little bit of dark brown. There we go. A little bit more water. And I'm just going to dab a couple spots. Create some more variation. And this is very, very thin, so this will not dry to be a real solid color change in any way. But it will create some muck. Some much needed muck. So what do you think about the Crowshriek area so far? Are you guys enjoying it? Not enjoying it? Tired of seeing it? Would you like me to get out of the Crowshriek? Now, you don't have to do this next step at all. This is purely something I just thought would look cool. And it does look cool on castles. I'm not sure how it's going to look on wild rocks, but it might look cool there too. I'm going to get a makeup brush. I'm going to get a tiny dab of this gray. About yay much. And I'm going to get a lot of that off my brush and mix it all around. Okay. Now I'm going to come up and I'm going to catch just some areas to lighten up those stones again, so it looks like the recessed stuff has some color change, but the exterior stuff not so much. It's not an enormous step. It doesn't change the game drastically, but it's interesting to look at. Cool. So there's our pieces. They are sturdy and they are good. Clear coat them, Make sure you have no white showing, because when you spray the clear coat, that's foam, it will melt. So make sure you have all of the white exposed foam painted before you clear coat it. I should have said something yesterday when I was doing those trees. By the way, where did I put those? I clear coated the trees, and I'll tell you what, I was right. The shininess of that clear glue went away, and you can't really tell it's clear unless you're holding it up close. So these are the foam trees we made yesterday. They turned out super well. I would say that I could have gone a little lighter with them like I did on this and had a better result, but I didn't, so we'll have to live with it. So do me a favor, please like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell icon, and all the happy crappy that pleases the YouTube algorithm gods. And I will see you guys next time, assuming we all make it till then. So go to the website, buy some minis, use discount code VAL40 to get 40% off your first box of Dungeon Swag minis for the monthly subscription. And I would love to see you there. Come to Discord, show us what you're painting, what you're crafting, what you're making. We'd love to see it. We'd love you to look at our stuff and make comments about it as well. And thanks for watching.